Are we live now?
We're live.
Okay, we're live once again. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to, what is it? It is November 17th in the year 2022, and this is our regular Thursday happy half hour from Carolina Retirement Planners. Those of you who may have joined us for the first time, I'm David Shakavage, the president and founder of Carolina Retirement Planners, and with me is Samantha Shakavage, my partner here and daughter in this business, or maybe my daughter and partner in the business. And we have come to you now for over 2 years every Thursday to kind of have some fun and bring you some useful information, usually, but not always, in the retirement and retirement finances field. And this time, if you've just joined us, we're going to have a question and answer session. We've solicited some questions once in a while. We like to do an open question session, and we're going to do that today. Also with us today, who else is with us today, Sam?
As always, we have the lovely Ms. Amy Dresky with us, making everything work behind the scenes.
Hi, how are you guys today?
Hey, doing great. How are you doing?
Wonderful, thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, Amy is our director of client fun and also the one that knows how to get the Zoom connected to the Facebook and get you all to see this and then get it over there to YouTube, to our YouTube channel. So we also always like to start with something lighter and more fun. We like to recognize what day it is. And what day is it today, Amy?
Well, there were a bunch of holidays today. And I actually did not select a holiday for the email I sent, but today is National Baklava Day. It's also National Homemade Bread Day, but I went with baklava because my dad made some really, really fantastic baklava.
Arguably, homemade baklava is a homemade bread, right? There's bread. They just put a lot of other good stuff.
Yeah, like honey. Okay, I see where you're going. All right. Okay, that's like almost like somebody that we won't name names trying to say a hot dog is a sandwich, but okay.
Yeah.
I see that.
No. Okay.
I just had a really lovely baklava from the Greek festival. They just had the drive-through Greek festival maybe like three weeks ago or so. It was beautiful. The honey was just dripping from it.
It's a delicious thing. It really is.
And we also, like to recognize what we're drinking. What is everyone drinking today?
Okay, I have something. My dog's barking in the background. Sorry, that's Turnip. I'm drinking a Leinenkugel. Did I drink this last week? I don't know. I think maybe I did. It's a toasted Bach Leinenkugel. You see that?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
How about you, Sam?
I'm boring today. I just have water.
Yeah, and I'm still finishing off the coffee. I'm still finishing off the coffee from lunch. You put it in one of these Yeti cups and it stays warm forever,
Well, I cannot have coffee that late. 1 or 1:30 is my cutoff for coffee, or else I am up all night.
Oh, the trick is to wash it down with whiskey or wine, and then it doesn't affect it.
I like it. Okay, I see where you're going there. Okay.
And we always like to say hi to folks that have joined us. We see Dan and Barb from the mountains are here to say hi. Our own Kristen is here upstairs saying hi. Skip, it's good to see you once again, or as usual. Nadine is here. Jay and Carter, who I actually said hi to today in the office, they are here to say hi. Rick and Bruce have both said hi. So we've got a good crowd here today. Well, I don't know if do we want to start in on the questions yet? Or we
can. I say yes, but we can also talk about what people were voting on today, because I didn't even get to that. I know we talk about the day, But in my email here, I'll hop on. So in the email today, or what I sent out, like on your behalf, what the question that we proposed was, what team are you on when it comes to Thanksgiving? So I'll ask you guys. Yeah. So are you like team appetizers, team like main course, team dessert, team leftovers? And I was actually corrected about team main course because that probably should have had sides as well. But anyway, so what do you guys prefer when it comes to Thanksgiving? Which one is what team are you on?
Definitely
Yeah.
team leftovers.
Yeah, that actually was the winner today by far, by far. So yeah, how about
Yeah,
you,
I
Dave?
think that's probably, there's nothing like those turkey sandwiches
Yeah.
with mayonnaise and cranberry sauce
Mhm.
eaten for the next week or two, you know.
Yeah,
Just always
it's
works.
funny. When I make mine, I do the turkey and the cranberries, but then I always put like stuffing on it. So I have like bread and stuffing. It's like carb overload, and then heat up some gravy and make it like a turkey dip, like a French dip, but a turkey dip. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah,
So
at the
that was
beginning
like
of
one of the things.
the annual Thanksgiving weight gain, you know.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's
One way
coming
to
next
solve
week.
this is to go out for dinner that day, and that way you don't have, 10,000 calories of leftovers to eat
Oh,
over,
mm,
know.
yeah. It is because you feel guilty because there's so much time and prep that goes into making all this food and you don't want to like throw anything away. So you have it and you're like, oh, okay, I gotta eat it. I just gotta eat it.
And while we're on this topic,
Yeah, I'll go back to my work over here. Sorry.
while I'm on this topic, is today the Beaujolais day? No, Beaujolais Nouveau, is
Yes,
that
yes, 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 you're correct. It is, yes.
okay? Maybe I'll see if I can find, I think Fermental has a Beaujolais party, and
We're
maybe
gonna
we
have
can
a party there soon,
run down. Yeah, we're going to have a party. We're going to, why don't you
December
tell,
1st.
we are going to broadcast. When is it? What date?
Well, December 1st, since we are turn up my dog, since there will be no happy half hour next week due to Thanksgiving, the following week will be a Thursday, December 1st, and we will be live from Fermental talking about holiday beers and wine. So
So
yeah, come
for
see us.
those, I know some of you, we have twice, at least twice in the past, three times actually, but one of them was early in COVID where we couldn't have guests. But twice we've had a wine tasting or a beer tasting. Once Sam did it with her husband at a water line, and once we did it at Fermental when it was out in Ogden, and we broadcast live with a tasting, and friends of ours who, those of you here who came to that were also able to get in on some of that tasting. So 2 weeks from tonight at Fermental, Google it. It's like on 17th or 18th Street. It's in the district where they're building everything out of cargo containers. We will be probably out back, and have if the weather's not too bad, and we'll have a live broadcast and tasting from there. So don't want to miss that. Don't
Yes,
want
it's
to miss.
actually the address is 600 South 17th Street.
Yeah, and there's a parking lot next door, and there's lots of on-street parking. Area is getting really cool. You wander around there. There's a lot of cool places to eat and drink, and all other kinds of stores. So it's worth checking out. And it's
And
convenient.
my friend lives right there, and just so everybody knows, if they want to come out, you can park along the side streets, and she says it's plenty safe and it's close to walk, so you'll be fine.
Conveniently close to the ABC store, so if you need to pick up some, prepare for Christmas with some libations, you can go to that as well. So that should be fun. That should be fun. But okay, to work. We had some questions. We had, let's see, one question. What was those first two questions, Sam, that were good and pertinent?
Well, one of the first questions that we have is somebody asked if we have heard of an annuity, which is like a CD that you just need to hold for 2 years.
And the answer is?
The answer is yes, we have heard of this. This would be called a fixed annuity. And it pays out it's similar to a CD. It pays out a certain amount of interest, a predictable amount of interest each year. It has a less liquidity than a CD does, but it typically pays higher rates. Right now on a 2-year fixed annuity, your yearly rate is going to be about 4.3% is our top rate right now.
And if you're willing to go an extra year,
If you're willing to go up to 3 years, we're looking at 5.3 is my top rate.
and there's two other things worth noting. One is they're also called MYGAs, MYGA, multi-year guaranteed annuity. It's basically kind of a CD with an insurance company. The other advantage of it is if you put money into a CD each year when it produces income or interest, even if you don't spend it, you got to pay tax on it. So but with an annuity, a MYGA or one of these annuities, it grows. You don't pay tax till you actually cash it in and spend it. Take that money out and spend it. And if you want to, in 2 years, you could roll it to another 2-year and keep delaying that tax if you don't want to spend it. So that's another advantage of those annuities.
Whenever you say MIGA, all I can think of, it sounds like a dishwasher, which I know it isn't, but that's just that word MIGA. And I know it's like Maytag is not the same, but that's what I think of whenever I hear MIGA.
Yeah. Well,
so if you can't remember what it is, just think of a dishwasher or washing machine or something, and there you go. You can't forget the word.
Is that like a
what
Maytag?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maytag and MIGA. I don't know. They kind of go hand in hand in my brain.
okay, what else? What other questions did we have, Sam? What was else on the?
One of the other questions we had, now this is a little bit denser of a question. It was about if you are a non-spouse and you inherit an annuity that is not IRA money. Basically, when the non-spouse inherits the non-IRA annuity, there's an interest portion and the cost basis portion, and the interest portion is taxable. And as they understand it, there's something, whoa, I'm sorry, you just took away my.
I know, this gives me a chance to draw some stuff.
I
Keep
know, I
going.
just can't read the question anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
They're wondering, their understanding is that there's options for the inheritors to roll over the annuities into a new annuity, which would perhaps give them a more advantageous way to pay out the interest. And they were inquiring about that. It's kind of maybe a very specific question.
Well, it's a good question, kind of understanding a little bit of questions on annuities and taxes, okay? And let me draw some stuff there to maybe help people understand and what their options are. So let's assume that you put wrong one. Let's assume that you put, make it a prettier color. There we go. Let's assume that you put $100,000 into this annuity, and over the years, it grew another 100,000. So we were up to 200,000. Now, this part here is your basis, and this part is the growth. Now, if this was an IRA annuity, then it's all taxable. It doesn't matter. It's just one big pile of tax. And if you leave it, if you die and you leave it to your kids, say, they can roll that to an annuity somewhere else in almost any form and take it out under the 10-year rule, which we're going to talk about because we had some questions on that. If it's a non-IRA, which is also sometimes called non-qualified is the fancy term. Well, when you inherit this, half of it, this half is taxable, and this half is tax-free. So how do I get it? Well, one thing you can do is you can cash the whole thing in one big swoop, and you'll get a tax bill for the 100 that is taxable. The other thing you can do is you can say, well, I don't want to pay all that tax at once. So you could say something like, let me get this tax over the next 5 years. So for the next 5 years, so you got year 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Every year they'll send you that 50-50 mix of taxable and tax-free. They're going to pay a little interest on it too. They might pay 2-3% interest, but every year instead of getting the taxable first, you'll get an even mix of the taxable and tax-free. You can also extend that for a longer period of time, sometimes even over your lifespan. You got to look at the company and the annuity and what type it is, but that's a way to get the money out of a non-IRA annuity that you might inherit. So that's sort of the question there. Yes, there is a way to take that annuity and basically annuitize it or turn it into an income stream over the years. Some might be attached to your life, some might just be a period of years. And so you want to talk to your advisor and have them research the company and figure out what's best for you. So that's a little bit on the annuity question that came up. What other questions do we have? What else might we want to deal with? One person asked us that can I write checks from my IRA and not pay the taxes? So let's say I had an IRA. Well, let's say I got a checking account on the IRA and I wrote a check from the IRA to a charity. You can't just say, that's my tax payment, you got it. If you give money from your IRA to a charity, in most cases, you got to report it on your tax. You got to report the income on your tax return and take the deduction from your tax return. However, as many know, if you've been listening a while, if you're over 70 and a half, you can do a qualified taxable distribution, a QCD, and you can have the person that has your annuity write a check directly to your charity and give it to them that way. We help people with dozens of those.
Does it have to be an annuity? The person, your Fidelity account,
For
wherever your
many-
IRA is.
I'm sorry, annuities on my head talking so much. You're right. From thank you, any IRA, you can have them write it directly, and it doesn't show up basically on your tax return. Nice thing is you don't have to pay more Medicare Part B tax or have it affect the taxability of your Social Security. So that's the way you can do it, but you can't do it directly without going through and having enough donation to beat the standard donation that we all get, the big standard donation we get each year. So that's kind of that story. What else might we have, Sam? We got time for one or two more. You have any big important ones?
I think that you have the list, remember?
I got the list. Okay. Here's another one. I'm going to give you a little hint here. You know how I love to draw on this thing. So, a lot of people say, boy, if I'm over 72 now, I'm going to have an RMD every year. I'm going to have to take money out. And you know that you can't convert your RMD to a Roth, right? That's not allowed anymore. So you got to take the RMD, you got to pay the tax. And now what do I do with what's left? Here's an idea you may not have thought about is we really like to encourage people or help people see the advantage of taking an IRA and converting it to a Roth IRA. And to do that, you've got to pay tax. Well, one of the things you can do is after you have taken your RMD out, if you had $100,000 in your RMD and you were in your 70s, you probably have to take $4,000 out as an RMD. And let's say you pay tax and 25% of it was, the tax was 25%, you'd have about $3,000 left, right? Well, you could use that $3,000 to pay the tax on additional Roth conversions. And if you were in the 25% bracket, you could probably use that to move another $12,000 into a Roth. And so instead of trying to invest it and have it grow taxable somewhere, why not use it to pay the tax on $12,000 of IRA? And now you got $12,000 growing tax-free forevermore. So you got to think about it. That's one great place. Where should I invest my RMDs? Well, you should use it to convert more money to a Roth, because you're allowed to, once you've paid your RMDs, to convert more and get that into a Roth. Of course, it takes, you got to watch about taxability and all that, but there's a great idea. And by the way, it's also, we like to encourage people, if you, instead of 529 plans, converting an IRA to a Roth and dedicating that Roth to your grandkids' education, this is another way to go about and do that. So that's that. And we're getting close to the top of the hour. Let me see what else I have here that might be good. A lot of people have asked about the I bonds, the inflation bonds that have come out. They're paying, 9%. And, we did a happy half hour on that a few months ago. And if you go to CarolinaRetirementPlanners.com under events and look for, and look for happy half hour, you can find that. But inflation bonds up till this past year haven't made sense in a long time. They didn't pay very much. What they do is they look at what the inflation was a year ago and what it is today, and that difference is what they pay you on each 6 months. So 6 months ago, inflation went through the roof and all of a sudden it's worth a lot. But since then, the month-to-month rate has slowed down. So we're not going up at 9% a year anymore. We're going up a month, 1% a month, a few tenths of a percent a month. So it's pretty soon that rate's going to come back down. And remember, you can only put $10,000 into an inflation bond a year per person. You have to do it directly with the government yourself, and you can't cash it in for a year. And when you do, they're going to charge you a 3-month or so penalty, and you can't cash it in penalty free for 5 years. So you might get stuck in something that doesn't pay much for a year. So got to take that into account. We cover that in that talk. And what else do we have? Anything else here that we can cover in the time allowed it?
Here's a quick question. If a person turns 72 in September, do their first required minimum distributions have to be made by December 31st of this year, or can they wait until March of 2023 or March of the next year?
Yeah, good question. And here is the rule. Mandatory withdrawal is, if you turned 72 this year, the mandatory withdrawal is March of next year. However, that's the mandatory withdrawal for this year. Next year, you'll have a second mandatory withdrawal that must be done by December 31st. So you end up taking 2 RMDs next year. And for many people, that will drive you into a higher tax bracket. So it's usually, and I say that,
Usually.
usually smarter to take the RMD the year it occurs. We've had some cases a few years ago. We had someone who was getting deferred comp. They were getting, leftover payments for the job they left, or maybe they're working that year they turned 70, but they were getting payments. Boy, they were in a high tax year this year. Next year they'd be lower, so it paid to wait. So I always want to talk to your advisor or your accountant to say, what do you think it makes sense for me this year? Don't automatically think it's best to wait, because most cases you'll pay more in taxes. Okay. Well, we are at the top of the hour. Besides reminding everybody that we're not on next week because it is Thanksgiving, and you all, as much as we love seeing you and you joining us on Thanksgiving, we all have better things to do. Weekend after that, though, at Fermento, we will have a live beer and wine, holiday beer and wine tasting at Fermento, and you're welcome to come down and join us there as well. But what do we have to finish up with, Sam?
The drum roll. But I also want to say I will have a special host next week in place of Happy Half Hour, just like I always do the past couple of years.
Yeah,
So.
Amy will come through and give us something fun. So,
Awesome.
and God, it's probably worth coming because when she comes up with creative stuff, it's usually really pretty good. So.
Aw, thanks for saying that. Thank you.
All right. Well, it is time for our wine drawing. Each week we raffle off 2 bottles of wine delivered directly to your door from Fermental Bottle Shop. And all you have to do to enter is, if you are a member of Facebook, each week we'll put out a little event notification saying what our topic is, and you just have to click I am going to that event, and we'll get you in here. And if you are on our email list, you will send you out something letting you know what our topic is, and if you respond to that email, will get you in the wine drawing as well. All right.
And while she's stirring, I just want to say hi to Phil, Nadine, Martha, Teresa, and Eric, who have also joined us.
All right. And our wine winner this week of 2 bottles of wine delivered directly to your door from Fermental that we will be at live in 2 weeks is Miranda and Rod R. And they enter, I think, every single week. So
yes, definitely. Yay! Congratulations.
Yay,
Persistence always pays off.
It does. Oh, here,
Persistence always pays off.
Yes, it does. It does. Congratulations.
Well,
everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Great Thanksgiving. We'll see you.
Yes.
We'll see you in December, in the next month.
Oh my goodness, we will. Yeah.
Okay.
December already. Time flies.
It does.
Take
care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.